You may have heard that it's really expensive to do home staging. Well, it really all depends on what do you mean by home staging and what tactics are you taking to get it done. After watching this episode, you'll know 5 ways to home stage on a budget that are going to maximize your return. And here's a kicker for you. Just for reference, you get about $2 back for every $1 spent on home staging. Something to think about, something to consider. My name is Andrew Finney, your real estate geek. If you need help finding a top agent where you live, or if you simply want to drop me a line to say hello, my contact info is below. If you're new here, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel now, like this video, and tap the bell icon to get notified of the next one. Thank you. Okay team, let's take a closer look at this, and as we do, let's keep in mind that when we get ready to put a home on the market and get it sold, we're really playing Match.com with your house. We've got to keep it clean, we got to get it put together right and present it in the right light to attract as many qualified buyers as possible to make offers on what could be their brand new home. Budget saver number 1 is depersonalizing the property. Now, you've heard this again and again and again, but how do you exactly depersonalize? Any pictures that you have up on the walls with you or your family members should be taken down. Anything that's really unique to you and your faith perhaps should be taken down, toned down, and put away for home staging purposes to keep it nice and neutral, nice and clean to appeal to the widest audience of prospective buyers. Now, you've probably already heard of that stuff, but there's some other stuff that you can do that people don't really think about all the time. So like your closets, for example, go into your closet and hopefully you don't get rained down on like one of those cartoons with the doors just bursting out at you and it's all crazy going in there when you open those doors. So there's something that you can do with your closets. It really starts with decluttering the closet. As you declutter the closet, get yourself some staging boxes. Get some of those little cute boxes you can get at Michael's or at the home store or wherever your home store is, and whatever boxes you like. Kind of like those ones that people even use for Christmas, but in this case, not holiday specific, just nice looking boxes, and use those for any storage items that you need. The second thing is to go get hangers that are exactly the same and congruent throughout the entire space of the closet. In all the closets, they should be the same. Hangers do not cost a fortune, so there's no reason why they can't be exactly the same, and it will make a really big impact when people are looking in the closet for in terms of space and see what's going on when everything is harmoniously put together. Now, one of the other things that you could do here, and it really comes as a surprise whenever I suggest that sellers do it here in Vegas that I work with, as you're putting your hangers up and you're taking all your clothes off, make sure they're all in the same hangers, right? Is to actually space out your hangers like 1 finger width apart. So it's like 1 finger width. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's take 1 finger and imagine these 2 fingers are hangers and you're spacing them out 1 finger width apart. Because what that happens is it gives it a symmetrical balance to that closet. When you do that and you tie that in with the beautiful boxes that you've now put it in there and you've decluttered it so they can see the floor space, and if you have shelving on the top, you got these nice little stacked boxes, it gives the look of a nice sized closet, and it also looks gorgeous for your home staging purposes. Budget saver number 2 is maximize the space. It's kind of like what we were just talking about in the closet, but when we start talking about maximizing space, there's a lot more that we need to do, from the bedrooms to the bathrooms to the kitchen to the entire house, right? Decluttering is the best way to maximize your house. You want to make sure that you tone down any like wall art that you have going on. If it's too much, then go ahead and take some of it down. I'm not suggesting you take it all down by any means. Art goes a long ways in for staging and making pops of color here and there and accenting different parts of your color palette in the way that you've staged your property by tying in the colors from everything that you do. So I'm not saying go in and take it all down. What I am saying is make sure that if you look at your wall and you're thinking, yeah, that's probably a bit much, or if your next door neighbor or best friend would say, hey, that's a lot of stuff you got on the wall, tone it down. So when you're doing that, there's a quick and expensive way to improve the appeal of your bedroom by simply using a gender neutral color when touching up paint jobs. Gender neutral, you could be like light grays, it could be earth tones, beige. Somebody was recently telling me about a color about beige and gray being grayish, so even a grayish color could work in this case. So color coordinate where possible with the walls, your bedspread, your curtains, and you should have a clear theme to their colors if possible. Now, I have worked with some people that have done a wonderful job, and if she's watching this video right now, she'll know I'm talking about her because she did an amazing job of staging her home and giving every room its own fit with its own color. When we took those professional listing photography of her house when we sold it, it was freaking amazing. The colors just popped. It was like a beautiful teal in one room and a beautiful light pink in the other one. Obviously these were her daughter's rooms, but the way that she did it in combination with the neutral color palette wall, it looked stunning, and that house sold really quick. It was done right. Her and her husband did a fantastic job. Family did a fantastic job on that. So can you. And guess how much it cost them? Nada. It was using what they already had when we walked through the house and suggesting different ways to declutter, depersonalize, and some things that we could do to the house to really make it pop. And it works. It works extremely well. Now, a few more things that you can do that will really make a bedroom pop is if you don't have a headboard on the bed, putting one there can really add a focal point and break up the wall and give it a visual impact as a focal point to the room without necessarily breaking the bank. Adding a few decorative items creates focal points in the room, especially at eye level on top of dressers or anything else else that you have going on. Nightstands, a few little pieces here. They're really small. It doesn't have to be a lot because you don't want to overstage, but just a couple of little accent pieces. It could even be those hollow books that you see, 2 or 3 of them stacked up together on a nightstand or on a dresser or something. Get one candle here that's higher than the other one so you have a little bit of a balance going on the dresser. Will really make it pop. The third budget saver is deep cleaning your house. I mean, sanitize, sanitize, sanitize. This really should go without saying, but unfortunately I see it go down the wrong way all the time. I've worked with buyers where you walk in the house and it literally smells like a toilet. It literally smells like a porta potty. I mean, it's just awful. Or, you know, you walk into a home and it has that leftover dinner smell and you're like, what? And then you walk in and the dishes are still in the sink and you're like, really? You couldn't get the house cleaned up? Are you trying to sell your house? Or are you trying to, I mean, what are you thinking, right? You got to get your house cleaned up and you got to remember that we're playing Match.com. I guess that'd be the equivalent of the person that just rolled out of bed, didn't brush their teeth, and when you look at them smile, it looks like they have corn for teeth. I mean, it's just that awful, right? I mean, we got to be real when we're staging our house, and we got to be real when we put our home up for sale. It's got to be clean. It's got to smell nice. And one of the big things to look at are grime. You want to make sure you go into your bathrooms and really make sure there's no grime, there's no mildew, there's none of that stuff over there. So you want to simply get yourself some bleach, give it 1 part bleach to 1 part water, and get it nice and cleaned up, and clean up all the grout, clean everything up, replace the grout if necessary, replace the caulking if necessary, but you want to get it clean. Clear the countertops of everything but the essentials of what is absolutely needed, so it gives more space inside of that bathroom and it looks really good. Again, you don't want to over accentuate, but you do want to have some accent pieces in the bathroom that fits the color palette of what's going on there. Now, putting a white bath and hand towels on display can give the bathroom an open and spa-like feel at little cost. Now, it's kind of a pro tip here. When you start looking at the bathroom towels, why not roll them up? Not put them up like hanging, but actually roll them into little bitty circles, little bitty cylinders, right? And stage them. That's what the spa look is actually just rolling them up and kind of building a little pyramid out of them. It looks really elegant, looks really classy, and really makes it pop. If you have grimy shower doors, please don't put them back up. Make sure that you clean them. You can actually break out some muriatic acid with 1 part of muriatic acid that you can get from a home store, the 10 parts of water, and go ahead and clean them up. They look brand new, or use CLR if it's going to be able to work on your type of shower doors. Now, lastly, you know, with Sanitize, you really do need to keep it clean, and that does include the outlet covers and the switches throughout the house, making sure that they're clean. Think about this. When's the last time you saw a home that looked beautiful in the pictures and then you went there in person and it was just grimy and it felt dirty and it felt dingy to you? Did you end up liking that house? Probably not so much, right? I mean, let's be honest. So let's make sure that we're going all the way here and getting everything cleaned up and making it look really good by making sure that your house is very clean when we get ready to go on the market. Now, the 4th budget saver is the Simply Modernize. Now, when we're talking about modernizing, unless you have some beautiful pieces from like a period era or something, then a lot of homes can stand to have a little bit of updating going on. Now, consider simple changes like swapping out gold fixtures for nickel or chrome. Now, I would actually take it to a different level depending on what buyers are looking for in your area. Maybe nickel's the best, maybe chrome's the best, or guess what? Maybe a little bit more of an investment into that brushed oil kind, and you know the ones I'm talking about, they sell it everywhere, would be a good idea as well. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to buy it from the home stores or something. You can go on the Amazon and get those things like really, really cheap, and they look just as good, and they're gonna fit the part for what we needed them to do here. Now, if you don't have hardware in your cabinets, that's a really quick touch up. Make sure that you get hardware put up on those cabinets for less than like $200 in many cases. You'd get it done. Make sure that you're centering those things correctly if you're doing it as a DIY project, or calling one of your friends or family or professional out if you're unable to do that yourself, and have them go in there and go ahead and put that hardware on those cabinet doors. It will really make it pop, and I promise you, for something that small, $200 to $300 here is going to make a massive difference in the mind's eye of a buyer by simply having the hardware. Now, you also want to make sure you don't forget about getting underneath the stove, underneath the fridge, moving them off the wall and vacuum up and cleaning up underneath them as well. You want to make sure that when you're home staging on a budget, you do everything absolutely right. You got to clean inside the refrigerator, clean inside the sink, clean inside of your oven, declutter the kitchen cabinets and drawers is always a theme, because a buyer's going to be looking, and yes, ideally they will open up your cabinet doors. Now, you'll be thinking, well, why is that ideal? Because if they're opening up the cabinet doors, it means they're starting to visualize themselves and where they're going to put their stuff to live in the house that you have now that's going to become their new home when they make the offer on it, right? So it's a good thing. We want to encourage buyers to open up pantries. We want to encourage buyers to open up cabinets and drawers and such. So let's do our part and make sure that we even stage our our furniture by stacking it up. Going back to our closet reference with those little storage boxes, make sure that you're doing the same thing with your plates. Stack them all nice and neat so that they can conceptualize just how much space is really in there. Cover and align all your different glasses, flatwares, and platewares, and it'll really pop. When they open it, they're gonna be, oh my God, this is beautiful. Then they're going to know that that kitchen is the right size for them and what they're looking for in their new home. One other thing to think about here is when you put rugs down on floors, it actually breaks up the space. And whenever it breaks up the floor space, it can actually make it feel a little bit smaller than it really is. So depending on how big the kitchen is that you have, you may want to take up the rug so that the kitchen feels even bigger. Since there's no break in the lines of the floor, it'll feel a lot larger. It's something to think about, something to consider. The fifth budget saver is neutralizing your paint palette. If you have pink walls, green walls, yellow walls, what have you walls, I hope you enjoyed it during the time that you live in that house. It's time to neutralize it. It's time to take it to the grayish, essentially that light gray or beige type color, the combination of the grayish color. The base color of the interior of your house is extremely important. Now, take for reference, I don't know if you can see the exact color that I got going on at the walls behind me here. This is actually my home office, and it's the color palette throughout the house, including the ceiling, which makes the house look a lot taller, by the way. Now, with this color palette, I can do so many different things. If I had a different camera and I could show you and walk you through the house, you would see what I've done with it with the staging of the house. No, I'm not going to sell my house, but I'm just saying I live here and I do keep it very nice and keep it staged to my taste and my preference. A lot of people that have been in my house, a lot of my clients have been in my house when I invite them over for parties and stuff. They always compliment the house and say that they love it. So it's one of those things that you take a neutral palette, you can decorate around it with anything. You get your splash of colors and you get your colors and your personality from the art that you put up and from the color palette that you use throughout decorating your house. Not by making like an ultra hot pink wall or something like that, right? So whenever you get ready to go on the market, you want that neutralized. Now, as a pro tip here, when you're looking at your dining room settings and you're looking at your place settings, just like we've talked about everywhere else in this video, you want to make sure that you're staging even the dining room table. You don't want to over accentuate here. So think like 5-star restaurant quality. When you have the nice little fork out, you got everything, the flatware set out, everything looks good. You got the plates, you got the bowl, and the cute little accordion look to the cloth napkin that's there. Go ahead and stage it out like that. It'll look really good. And don't forget to consider your curtains and make sure that all your colors are tying in together from any throw blankets that you may have out, Afghans, what have you, curtains that you're using. And when you're considering the curtains, please don't forget the hardware. And when I'm talking about the hardware, I'm specifically referring to the little hook that you're going to need and the sway backs that you're going to need to hold that back and make it look good like a traditional type curtain. Sometimes what happens is people buy these curtains, they let them just hang all the way down and that's it, and they never do anything with them. You need the hardware, you need the sway back, because when you go to stage it, it's a very simple thing to fix. It's just swagging it back, looping it down so you get a little bit of elegance to it, and then you pull it over onto the hook and you swag it back, and it's a beautiful look to the house. And if you don't have those sway backs, then what happens is, and I've seen it where people just take the curtains and take them into the middle and tie them off in the middle. Well, look, that looks better than it just being there random, but it would look a lot better if you just spent the few extra dollars it's going to take to get that little hook. It doesn't have to be an expensive hook. Go ahead and get the sway back that's going to look appropriate to that curtain and do that to your windows. It's going to really dress them up. It's going to really glam it up. That being said, make sure your windows are clean, right? And don't underestimate the power of smell in your house. When we're talking about smells, you want to make sure that you stay away from food scents. You want to go into like the citrus smells. The reason being is, please go ahead and think of your favorite food right now. What happened? Your belly got hungry, you start smelling it, you start thinking about it, and now you're hungry, right? So now you're going to need to go eat something. So pick up your phone, go into your kitchen, go wherever you are right now, and go ahead and grab something to eat. I'm sorry I made you hungry, but hey, it proved the point, right? So we want to get some citrus scents or some citrus smells going on through the house, or clean, at least clean and fresh smells. Those will help people want to stay in the house longer, and it'll also keep them focused at looking at your home for all the beauty and hard work that you put into it. And lastly, when we're talking about living rooms, we want to make sure that all your colors pop with your curtains. Everything ties in from the kitchen, everything ties in through the color palette throughout the house. If you have an area rug, what have you, or throw or accent pillows, everything is tying in as a color. Now that doesn't mean they have to be perfectly matched. It means the colors need to be complementary, and it will look really beautiful when you do that correctly. As a pro tip, if you have kind of like a sparse living room with the furniture that you have, you can simply strategically place a tree or a plant in the room to really break it up and add it as the focal point that the eye is going to be drawn to, and it's going to really make it pop. Again, now check your baseboards, make sure that everything is clean, clean. And of course, if you have nothing in your house, then there's wonderful sites that you can do virtual staging with, like padsstyler.com. I'll go ahead and make that link available down below. Go ahead and check it out if that's something that you want to do. It'll make it really, really simple to do some virtual staging and give buyers the idea of what they can do with your house when they purchase it. Okay, so this has been a video about home staging on a budget. Here's what I'd like you to do is tell us what you're thinking about this episode in the comment section below, along with any of your home staging on a budget tips that you'd like to share with us. Now I'm going to go ahead and pop up my contact information. If you simply want to drop me a line to say hello, or if you need help finding a top agent where you live, please let me know. Always love to hear from you, always here to help. If you haven't already done so, I'm going to ask you to do 3 things. Number 1, please subscribe to this channel. Number 2, please like this video. And number 3, please share this video around with someone you know is going to be the help, because I'm sure you could think of someone else right now that's just biting their nails, worried about thinking about putting their home on the market, not certain where to start with home staging and how much it's going to cost. Share this video with so that they can get pointed on the right direction. Thank you. In between now and next time, I'm wishing you and yours a lifetime full of love, wealth, abundance, and happiness. Thank you for watching today, team, and enjoy an amazing day.